All right, let's dive into something that is completely changing the game for anyone in sales. We're talking about how AI can help you find and, more importantly, connect with your perfect customers. So, if you feel like you're stuck using an old playbook and you're ready for a much smarter way to grow, you've come to the right place. So, let me just ask you this. Does your day-to-day sales process feel like an uphill battle? You're sending out tons of emails, you're making call after call, but the results just aren't there anymore? If any of that rings a bell, trust me, you are not alone. The entire world of sales is changing, and it's changing fast. You can really see the difference here. The old way? Well, it was a numbers game, right? All about volume. Cold calls, mass email blasts, basically just throwing stuff at a wall and hoping something sticks. But the new way? It's all about precision. Think more like a surgeon with a scalpel, not a shotgun. It's about using data to be incredibly relevant, incredibly targeted. So why is that old playbook just failing now? Honestly, it's not you, it's the buyer. The customers of today are smarter, they're way more selective, and frankly, their expectations are higher than they've ever been. I mean, just put yourself in the buyer's shoes for a second. By the time you reach out, they've probably already done their homework online. Their inbox is an absolute war zone of people fighting for their attention. And because of that, they can spot a generic copy and paste email from a mile away. What they're actually looking for is a real, authentic interaction. Okay, so how in the world do you cut through all that noise and actually make those real connections at scale? Well, this is where a seriously powerful new tool enters the picture: artificial intelligence. Now, when I say AI for lead generation, don't start thinking about sci-fi movies and robots. We're really just talking about smart technology that is constantly scanning the internet. We're talking social media, news articles, forums, company press releases, and it's looking for those tiny little clues, those signals that basically scream, hey, this company might be ready to buy. Because at the end of the day, that's the winning formula, isn't it? The real competitive edge comes from delivering the right message to the right person at exactly the right time. And AI is what makes that possible on a massive scale. This all sounds amazing, but how does it actually work? What's the magic that happens behind the scenes that turns a random LinkedIn post into a genuine red-hot sales lead? Let's pull back the curtain. So here's the basic roadmap of how the AI does its thing. It's essentially a 5-step process. First, it detects that buying intent we talked about. Then, it automates all the tedious research. After that, it helps you personalize your outreach. Then, it scores your leads so you know who to talk to first. And finally, it's always learning, always getting better. Let's break each of these down. So, step 1 is intent detection. I want you to picture an army of little digital helpers, just scanning the entire web 24/7. They're looking for those key buying signals, like a company announcing a big expansion, hiring for a new department, or an executive posting online about a specific problem they're facing. AI catches all of that stuff instantly. Okay, next up, automated research. As soon as the AI flags a company that's showing intent, it does all the digging for you. Forget spending hours manually clicking through LinkedIn profiles. In just a few seconds, you get a complete brief: who the key decision makers are, what they've been talking about online, and the company's latest news. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. Personalized engagement. The AI doesn't just dump a bunch of data on you and say, good luck. It actually gives you suggestions. It might pop up and say, hey, their head of marketing just published an article. You should mention that in your email. It helps you connect like a thoughtful human being, not an automated robot. So now you've got all these great potential leads. Where do you even begin? That's where smarter lead scoring comes in. The AI looks at all the signals and behaviors and then ranks every single prospect from hottest to coldest. This way, you know exactly where to focus your time and energy to get the best results. So, we've seen the how. The technology is pretty amazing. But what does all of this actually mean for the business, for the bottom line? Let's talk about the real-world impact, how this turns data into actual dollars. The results are pretty staggering. Because you're reaching out with relevant information, your connection and reply rates go way up. Because you're talking to people who are actually ready to buy, your sales cycles get shorter. Your entire pipeline becomes filled with genuinely qualified opportunities, not just, random names on a list. And all of that, of course, leads directly to increased revenue. What we're really talking about here is a fundamental shift. It's moving away from chasing cold leads who have no idea who you are, and instead spending your time engaging with warm opportunities who are already telling you they have a need. It's the ultimate work smarter, not harder, but supercharged with technology. Okay, let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Is AI coming to take all the sales jobs? It's a question a lot of people have, but the answer is a very clear no. This isn't about replacing people, it's about empowering them. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? AI isn't here to replace salespeople. It's here to make them better at their jobs. The whole idea is to automate the repetitive, boring, machine-like tasks so that human salespeople can double down on what they do best. And this breakdown just makes it crystal clear. You let the AI sales assistant handle the grunt work, right? The endless research, the monitoring, the data analysis, that frees up the human sales pro to focus on the things that actually require a human touch, building real relationships, thinking strategically about the account, and of course, closing the deal. So here's the bottom line. Using AI for lead generation, it isn't just a cool, futuristic advantage anymore. It's not a nice to have. In the market we're in today, it is quickly becoming an absolute necessity for any company that is serious about growth. And that really leaves us with just one big question to think about. This isn't about getting rid of anyone on your team. It's about adding a new, incredibly powerful player. So the only question left is your team ready for its new AI teammate?